Okay, the July 8th meeting of the Monroe County Legislature will now come to order. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Ms. Barnhart. Ms. Barnhart is present. Ms. Bartholomew McCoy.
Here.
Ms. Bartholomew McCoy is present. Mr. Baynes. Mr. Baynes is present. Mr. Blankley is excused. Ms. Bonnick.
Here.
Ms. Bonnick is present. Mr. Brew. Mr. Brew is present. Mr. Burgess. Mr. Burgess is present. Mr. Chardy. Mr. Chardy is present. Mr. Colby. Mr. Cruz.
Presente.
Mr. Cruz is present. Ms. Zavecchio Hoffman. Ms. Zavecchio Hoffman is present. Mrs. DiFlorio. Mrs. DiFlorio is present. Mr. Dondorfer. Mr. Dondorfer is present. Mr. Frazier. Mr. Frazier is present. Ms. Hasman. Ms. Hasman is present. Ms. Hughes-Smith. Ms. Hughes-Smith is present. Mr. Johns. Mr. Johns is present. Mr. Keller.
Here.
Mr. Keller is present. Mr. Long. Mr. Long is present. Mr. Maffucci. Mr. Maffucci is present. Mr. McCabe.
Here.
Mr. McCabe is
Here.
present. Ms. McIntyre. Ms. McIntyre is present. Mr. Milne. Mr. Milne is present. Mr. Morris. Mr. Morris is present. President Román.
Here.
President Román is present. Mr. Sinclair. Mr. Sinclair is present. Ms. Smith. Ms. Smith is present. Ms. Vasquez Simmons. Ms. Vasquez Simmons is present. Mr. Udelson. Mr. Udelson is present. We'll try Mr. Colby again. Mr. Colby. Mr. Colby is not here.
Thank you. Please stay seated. I'd like to introduce Denise Mack of Greater Rochester Community of Church Fair, who has been invited by Legislator Baynes to lead us in a moment of prayer. Please come up.
Thank you, Dr. Román, and thank you, legislators. Good and gracious God, God of all names and no name, this legislative body cares about the common good. This body eagerly wants to do the right thing, individually and collectively, for the people and environmental systems that feed us, on which the ancient peoples nourish the earth, nourish the water, nourish the air. Dear God of all names and no names, today's legislators are your hands, God, your voice, responsible for finding resources for educating our young. Help our legislators listen keenly to idealistic people, hopeful people, wise people, and always be curious as to how we can make human rights flourish for all. Help these legislators listen to housing-deprived people and to people not earning a living wage, and to all of us, especially children and immigrants on whose work we depend. Help us listen to our most vulnerable neighbors. Help these legislators gracefully and courageously respond to the needs of persons with disabilities and to asylum seekers. We trust in your guidance, gracious God, as together we build a culture of compassion in Monroe County so all can thrive. Amen. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Mack. And on behalf of the legislature, I present you with a certificate. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you so much.
Okay, please stand as Legislator Burgess will now lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Legislator Burgess. To the flag and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. At this time, I ask you to remain standing. Without objection, we will take agenda item number 32 out of the regular agenda order. Agenda item number 32 is moved by Legislator Udelson and seconded by Legislator Brew, expressing regret of the Monroe County Legislature on the recent passing of Dr. Joe Carbone, former president of the Monroe County Legislature. Mr. Clerk.
Expressing regret of the Monroe County Legislature on the recent passing of Dr. Joseph L. Carbone, former president of the Monroe County Legislature. Be it resolved that the Monroe County Legislature extends its heartfelt condolences and deepest sympathy at the passing of former president of the legislature, Dr. Joseph L. Carbone, a caring husband, loving father, trusted physician, loyal friend, and deeply respected voice in our community. And whereas Dr. Carbone, affectionately known as Dr. Joe, passed away peacefully at his home in Irondequoit on June 21st, 2025, at the age of 68, surrounded by his beloved family. Born and raised in Irondequoit, he graduated from the Aquinas Institute and later earned his degree from the New York College of Podiatric Medicine, going on to serve more than 4 decades as a dedicated podiatric physician and educator. Admired for his clinical expertise, compassionate care, and mentorship, Dr. Carbone rose to serve as chief of podiatry at Rochester Regional Health and left an indelible mark on countless lives. And whereas Dr. Carbone brought that same energy, passion, and integrity into public life, representing the 16th Legislative District in the Monroe County Legislature from 2013 to 2021. Rising through the ranks to serve as Assistant Majority Leader, Vice President, and ultimately as President of the Legislature, he championed fiscal responsibility, government transparency, and common sense leadership rooted in doing what was right for the people he served. Known for his outspokenness, refreshing honesty, and sharp wit, Dr. Carbone was as quick to share a laugh as he was to speak his mind. Impeccably styled and steadfast in his convictions, he earned respect and affection from colleagues and constituents alike. And whereas beyond his professional and legislative accomplishments, Dr. Carbone was a vibrant and generous presence in civic life, serving on the boards of the Italian Heritage Foundation, Golisano Children's Hospital, and Monroe Community College, while also remaining deeply committed to his faith and family. His magnetic personality, marked by a love for fast cars, fine watches, and a warm sense of humor, made everyone feel welcome and valued. And whereas Dr. Carbone is survived by his loving and devoted wife of 26 years, Mary, his cherished daughter, Roma, and her husband, Lucas McGran, his loving mother, Loretta Carbone, his sister, Carol Palladino, his mother-in-law, Nancy McCombs, and a wide circle of extended family, friends, colleagues, and former patients who will forever carry his memory in their hearts. And whereas Monroe County has lost not only a former president of the legislature, but a true giant in our community, one of a kind, the best of the best, whose legacy lives on in the lives he touched and the community he helped strengthen. And whereas, be it further resolved that the clerk of the legislature is hereby requested to forward a copy of this resolution to the bereaved family. This resolution was adopted unanimously, with each legislator rising in his or her place for a moment of silence.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. We'll now move on to the approval of journal. Your copies of day 6, June 10th is available through Novus Agenda. Without exception, this journal will stand approved as submitted. Legislators, the referrals submitted to the legislature for the next committee cycle are available on Novus Agenda as well as online. There are several proclamations scheduled this evening. Mr. Clerk.
Would Zachary Ennis please come forward? Also, County Executive Adam J. Bello, President Yversha Román, Legislators Carolyn DeVecchio Hoffman and Susan Hughes-Smith.
The Monroe County Legislature and the Office of Monroe County Executive Adam Bello recognizes Zachary Ennis. Whereas it is the sense of the legislature and the county executive to honor and celebrate the people and organizations which make Monroe County a better place to live. And whereas attendant to such concern, the legislature and county executive are justly proud to honor Zachary Ennis for his visionary leadership and tireless dedication as founder and executive director of Rochester Deaf Kitchen. And whereas the Rochester Deaf Kitchen, RDK, is a pioneering nonprofit organization dedicated to creating inclusive and accessible food systems that address food insecurity within the deaf community. And whereas Zachary Ennis's commitment to equity, accessibility, and sustainability has fostered strong partnerships with more than 20 local organizations, including FoodLink, Rochester School for the Deaf, and University of Rochester Medical Center, significantly expanding the reach and impact of RDK's services. And whereas, inspired by his personal experiences with food insecurity and his deep connection to the deaf community, Mr. Ennis has championed the belief that access to nutritious food is a fundamental human right that uplifts the entire communities. And whereas, despite facing and overcoming the challenge of a Hodgkin's lymphoma diagnosis and treatment, Zachary Ennis has demonstrated extraordinary resilience and commitment to ensuring that deaf individuals have equitable access to food and supportive community resources. And whereas through his vision and leadership, Rochester Deaf Kitchen has become a beacon of hope and a model of food justice, fostering an environment where deaf individuals can access food in a manner that respects their language, culture, and communication needs. And whereas Zachary Ennis continues to work tirelessly to expand Rochester Deaf Kitchen's programs locally and develop additional food pantries in other cities, advancing food security for deaf communities nationwide. Now, therefore, let it be known that we, Adam J. Bello, Monroe County Executive, Yversha Román, President, Carolyn Delvecchio Hoffman, Assistant Majority Leader, and Susan Hughes-Smith, Legislator, District 14, do hereby honor Zachary Ennis on this 8th day of July, 2025.
And now I'll say a few words. Thank you all so much for the enormous honor to be here standing in front of all of you. I want to make a special thank you to Carolyn Delvecchio Hoffman. Thank you so much for your tireless support and your unwavering support of the deaf community. Our community is ever grateful for her and her leadership and representation. I stand here not as an individual, but as a collective of people that are doing this work. All of our success is on the backs of our community, and we've recognized that there's a huge need, and there's been a community that's stepped up to do something about that need. So in accepting this proclamation, I accept it with the understanding that I'm doing this work in service of and together with our community. Thank you all for all the work that you are doing and for the honor of this proclamation.
You guys are gonna. Sure.
Would Elizabeth Henderson please come forward? Also, County Executive Adam J. Bello, President Yversha Román, and Legislators Carolyn Delvecchio Hoffman and Susan Hughes-Smith.
The Monroe County Legislature and the Office of Monroe County Executive Adam Bello recognizes Elizabeth Henderson. Whereas it is the sense of the legislature and the county executive to honor and celebrate the people and organizations which make Monroe County a better place to live. And whereas attendant to such concern, the legislature and county executive are justly proud to honor Elizabeth Henderson for her outstanding contributions to the organic farming movement, her tireless advocacy for agricultural justice, and her transformative impact on the agricultural community in New York State and beyond. And whereas Elizabeth Henderson, who farmed at Peacework Farm in Wayne County for over 30 years, has been a pioneer in the movement for organic and sustainable agriculture, offering organically grown vegetables, herbs, and flowers to hundreds of Rochester residents and serving as the first to introduce community-supported agriculture in the area. And whereas through her leadership and active participation on numerous boards, including the Northeast Organic Farming Association of New York, where she co-chairs the policy committee, and her role with the Agricultural Justice Project, Elizabeth Henderson has consistently worked to promote fairness, sustainability, and social justice within the agricultural industry. And whereas Elizabeth Henderson's numerous honors, including the Spirit of Organic Award, the Lifetime Achievement Award from Northeast Organic Farming Association of New York, and the Eco Farm Advocate of Social Justice Award, reflect her unwavering commitment to advancing organic farming and agricultural justice. And whereas, as a writer and advocate, Elizabeth Henderson has penned several influential works, including Sharing the Harvest, A Citizen's Guide to Community-Supported Agriculture and Whole Farm Planning. And whereas Elizabeth Henderson's remarkable career and lifelong dedication has inspired countless individuals and continues to shape national discussions on organic standards, fair trade, and agricultural justice, ensuring that consumers understand the importance of supporting ethical, sustainable food systems. Now, therefore, let it be known that we, Adam J. Bello, Monroe County Executive, Yversha Román, President, Carolyn Delvecchio Hoffman, Assistant Majority Leader, and Susan Hughes-Smith, Legislator, District 14, do hereby honor Elizabeth Henderson on this 8th day of July, 2025. Congratulations.
It's Dr. Elizabeth Henderson. She just doesn't tell anybody that.
Thank you for this unexpected honor. I want to thank the Monroe County Legislature for funding the Monroe County Outreach Project that helps move our county towards greater food sovereignty, where the rights of human beings to have control over the food that they grow and the food that we eat is respected and encouraged. The community garden that I participate in, the Magnolia Street Children's Garden, thoroughly appreciates the materials for a new fence so that we get to eat the collards and the lettuce instead of the greedy woodchucks. In the wake of the budget reconciliation bill just passed by Congress, with its huge cuts to nutrition programs, farm to school, and climate smarter agriculture, county support for local food sovereignty will be even more urgently needed. We're fortunate to live in a region with excellent soils, abundant fresh water, and diverse farms that produce enough food for everything we need for a balanced diet. No one in our region should have to go hungry. There's more than enough food for our entire population. Economic inequality and deeply seated racism, not lack of food, are the major obstacles to ending hunger and malnutrition. So let's face this reality and act to make change. We can start with some really simple steps. I urge the county to adopt a food policy for the county based on using as much locally grown food as possible for county events and county institutions, and no more plastic bottles. I also urge the county to solidify the practice of avoiding toxic pesticides in parks and playing fields by adopting clear policies that guide the choice of materials so that synthetic toxics are only used in very limited special cases. Parkinson's and other chronic diseases are on the rise in our county. Please start reducing our exposure on the lands you manage and conduct an educational campaign to help landowners understand the significance of these policies and how to make them work on their own properties. Thank you.
Would members of the Pittsford Mendon Vikings baseball team please come forward? Also President Yversha Román and Legislators Rick Milne and Howard Maffucci.
You guys can squeeze down that way. Maybe going up front. Yes.
Sorry. This is not at all. There's time.
Do it. All right. Whereas the Pittsford Mendon Vikings baseball team has made history by winning the 2025 New York State Class A Baseball Championship, the first state title in program history. The team finished the season with an outstanding 20-6 record, capping off a memorable and hard-fought campaign. And whereas the Vikings began their playoff run by capturing their first Section 5 championship in 24 years with a decisive 7-1 victory over Eastridge. They followed that up with a dramatic 1-0 win over Amherst in a thrilling 9-inning battle in the regional final. And whereas in the state semifinal, Mendon defeated the top-ranked team in New York, Rye High School, with a dominant 7-2 performance. In the championship game, the Vikings completed their run by shutting out the defending champions, Maine Endwell, 2-0 to seize the state crown. And whereas, guided by the team motto, our story has already been written, the Vikings were led by their 6 heart and soul senior captains, Colden Forney, Cam Barbulin, Aiden Lerner Morelli, John Wadsworth, Jack Albanese, and Ishan Srivastava, whose leadership, determination, and belief is one another were the driving force behind this historic accomplishment. Now, therefore, we, Yversha Román, President, Richard B. Milne, Legislator District 5, and Howard Maffucci, Legislator District 10, on behalf of Monroe County, do hereby recognize and honor the Pittsford Mendon Vikings for the winning the 2025 New York State Class A Baseball Championship. Oh, you want to take you right? So sorry.
You can get a good job with those names. Actually, that was the. Hopefully we can.
Would Victor Antonetti Jr. please come forward? Also, County Executive Adam J. Bello, President Yversha Román, Legislators Mercedes Vasquez Simmons and Santos Cruz.
The Monroe County Legislature and the Office of the Monroe County Executive, Adam Bello, recognizes the 55th anniversary of Orquesta Antonetti. Whereas it is the sense of the legislature and county executive to honor and celebrate the people and organizations which make Monroe County a better place to live. And whereas, attendant to such concern, the legislature and county executive are justly proud to honor Orquesta Antonetti on its 55th anniversary and recognize their outstanding contributions to the preservation, performance, and promotion of Latin music. And whereas Orquesta Antonetti began as the vision of Victor Antonetti Sr., who journeyed from Salina, Puerto Rico to Rochester, New York with the dream of establishing a Latin orchestra for lovers of salsa music. And whereas this vision took root in the 1970s, as Victor Antonetti Sr. performed with various bands and family members, laying the foundation for a musical legacy built on rhythm, passion, and cultural heritage. And whereas his legacy has since been carried forward by his son, Victor Antonetti Jr., who assumed the role of director and continues to lead Orquesta Antonetti with commitment to excellence and authenticity. And whereas over the last 55 years, the orchestra has featured a powerful blend of traditional Latin percussion and the vibrant tones of jazz-inspired wind instruments, creating a unique and timeless salsa sound that resonates with audiences of all generations. And whereas Orquesta Antonetti has performed alongside renowned artists including Tito Allen, Rafael de Jesus, Hector Tricoche, Ismael Miranda, and Johnny Rivera, all while maintaining their base in Rochester, grounded by their family and cultural roots. And whereas the group continues to elevate the profile of Latin music in upstate New York and beyond with aspirations for international growth and a commitment to sharing their culture with diverse audiences. Now, therefore, let it be known that we, Adam J. Bello, Monroe County Executive, Yversha Román, President, Mercedes Vasquez Simmons, Vice President, and Santos C. Cruz, Legislator, District 21, do hereby honor the 55th anniversary of Orquesta Antonetti on this 8th day of July, 2025.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'd like to thank God for amazing 55 years of providing amazing music to the Latin community and the world for that matter. I'd like to thank Monroe County legislators and everyone that had an input in this amazing award here. And for my family, for my dad that started the band in 1970, my family, the musicians that are literally rehearsing right now, so I'm late. We'd just like to say thank you.
Would Cheryl Weiss please come forward? Also, County Executive Adam J. Bello, President Yversha Román, and legislators Jackie Smith and Robert Colby.
Whereas on the evening of August 9th, 2024, the Brockport Fire District responded to a call involving a child suffering a life-threatening severe arterial bleed after falling onto a shattered terracotta pot. Prior to the arrival of first responders, Fire Police Captain Cheryl Weiss, a 10-year member of the Brockport Fire District, provided emergency first aid while off duty. And whereas through her swift decision-making ability to remain calm under pressure, Cheryl Weiss provided life-saving treatment without access to her first aid kit by quickly improvising a tourniquet with household items to stop the severe bleeding before EMS arrived. And whereas Cheryl Weiss has been credited by Emergency Medical Services for her heroic actions saving the life of the injured child. Her quick action and selfless dedication has provided us all with the notion of what it means to be a true first responder. And whereas Cheryl Weiss has been recognized throughout the local and state communities for her heroism and extraordinary service, such as being named First Responder of the Month by News 8 WROC in October 2024. Furthermore, Captain Cheryl Weiss has received numerous awards for her service, including Firefighter of the Year in 2024, American Legion Post 379, Fire Police Officer of the Year, Monroe County Volunteer Fire Police Officers Association, the President's Award for Excellence in Fire Police Officer of the Year, Volunteer Fire Police Association of the State of New York, Firefighter of the Year 2024, American Legion Monroe County Convention, Firefighter of the Year 2024, American Legion District 7 of New York, and Firefighter of the Year 2024, Western New York Volunteer Firefighters Association. And now, therefore, we, Adam J. Bello, County Executive, Yversha Román, President, Jackie Smith, Legislator, District 2, and Robert J. Colby, Legislator, District 20, on behalf of the entire Monroe County Legislature, do hereby express our deepest gratitude and recognize Captain Cheryl Weiss for her heroism and service to our community.
I just want to thank you all. And it's a great honor to be recognized by the Monroe County Legislature, and thank Adam Bello and Robert Colby, and a special thank you to Jackie Smith for her dedication, her commitment, and her support for the western side of Monroe County. And again, to my fellow firefighters and my PIO officer here, Chris Martin. We are a volunteer organization, and it's a team. So their support and their trainings have given me the tools I needed to do what I did. So again, thank you very much. And again, thank you, Jackie.
Thank you. I will now recess the legislature to hold a public hearing. I now declare open the public hearing entitled Adopting 2026-2031 Capital Improvement Program.
We have one person signed up for the public hearing this evening. You will have 2 minutes in which to address the legislature on the public hearing, and please keep your comments on the 2026-2031 Capital Improvement Program. And our first speaker is Alan Blair.
Hi, folks. Alan Blair here to talk to you about the Gloria Drive landfill. I hope this is the right one. Some of us have heard through the grapevine that it's up for recapping as part of the county's capital improvement plan, and that the request for proposal might not specifically require effective methane capture. If that's true, I'm here to point out what I'm sure must be a simple oversight. 2 weeks ago, I hadn't even heard about the Gloria Drive landfill, so I did some research to get my facts straight. It looks like the landfill was only open from 1975 to 1980 and was capped on the cheap at a time when no one thought much about methane capture. 45 years later, though, it still generates a lot of methane, as landfills do. And in fact, it accounts for 13% of the county government's greenhouse gas emissions. That makes it the single biggest emission source of all the county's operations. Now, I think not specifying for effective methane capture on the Gloria Drive landfill capping RFP is a simple mistake, and I think that for 2 reasons. First, because phase 1 of the county's climate action plan specifically calls for reductions in greenhouse gas emissions from county operations. Our constituents in the climate movement, thank you for that, by the way. And second, because the plan specifically mentions effective capping of this very landfill as a high-impact short-term implementation action. So when I looked at the CAP, I figured, not including methane capture in the RFP, it's got to be a mistake. After all, the climate plan isn't all that old, and you all approved it, right? So I'm sure you'll fix the RFP to include the methane capture, because if we don't do it now, who knows when we'll get the chance to do it again.
Thank you.
No one else is registered for this public hearing.
I now declare this public hearing closed. The July 8th, 2025 meeting of the legislature is reconvened. There are no formal committee reports scheduled for this evening. We will now hold the public forum. Thank you to everyone who has signed up for the public forum. We ask that everyone maintain decorum during this time. We will not tolerate any disruptions during this meeting from the gallery. A second warning will be issued before a deputy will be asked to remove you from the gallery. We have several people registered to address the legislature. Mr. Clerk.
If you require assistance, a deputy is available to assist you in approaching the lectern. I will call 3 people forward at one time. Each speaker will have 2 minutes in which to address the legislature. Please do not bring up any signs or props. Do not single out any legislators, and please conclude when the buzzer sounds. Thank you for your cooperation. And our first 3 speakers are Paul Forsella, Terrence Schnurr, and Alan Blair.
Not long ago, I saw a TV program, very disturbing, a documentary called Kidnapped for Christ, in which troubled youths were taken out of their homes and sent to often abusive camps in other parts of the world. In one of the camps mentioned, located in the Caribbean Sea area, they used to beat the kids if they did anything wrong and subject them to emotional abuse. It was mentioned friends of them tried to take one of the youths out of that camp when the youth turned 18. The friends had extreme difficulty doing this. There are many such camps. They should be completely investigated and fined, every last one of them. Abusive staff must be investigated and jailed right away.
Anthony Costanza is probably someone I would never consider casting a vote for. Nevertheless, I am troubled by Sandra Dorley's decision to file and publicize a vague prosecutorial information against him after a grand jury declined to indict him. GOP Chair Patrick Riley praised Dorley for looking past party labels, but he said that right after he disavowed Costanza as a Republican of convenience. And Dorley seems interested only in targeting John Perdicone's opponents. And let's not forget, just 2 years ago, John Perdicone was endorsed to run on the Republican line. Besides, anyone who follows politics in this county knows that political alliances and enmities often do not follow strict party lines. A prosecutor surely must sometimes, but rarely, act during an election campaign. But that is one of the many reasons why we should not have a district attorney who is notoriously lacking in shame, integrity, and credibility, and why it is a disgrace that after all this time, not one of you has publicly called for her resignation. Thank you, and have a good night.
Hi, Alan Blair back up here for District 23, here with Color Rochester Green to tell you why we need more food waste composting in Monroe County. The state food donation and food scraps recycling law requires any business or institution generating more than 2 tons of food scraps per week to recycle them if there is an organics recycler within 25 miles. The 16 qualifying entities in the county generate over 2,000 tons of food scraps per year. Keeping it out of our landfills would save big money and hundreds of tons of carbon pollution. But much of that food waste is not getting recycled because the facilities we have now can't handle the food waste the county produces. To deal with it adequately, we need food scraps recycling and composting centers in each county quadrant and one in the city. That means hundreds of tons of less carbon pollution and tons of compost to improve both public and residential landscapes. We thank the legislator for the County Climate Action Plan, which includes food scraps recycling, as well as the $1 million appropriated to continue climate action initiatives. We also thank you for the $5,000 matching grants to local schools to implement food waste diversion projects, although it would have been better to time the application period in late fall before school budgets are mostly finalized than in spring. So now that we have a climate action plan, let's actually implement it. Let's save the cost of hauling food waste to the landfill or to Livingston County. Let's keep all that carbon pollution out of the atmosphere. Let's hire the sustainable engineer you've already appropriated the money for. While we're at it, let's empower the team to prioritize system change for climate action. Then we can really get this done. As I've said to this body several times now, we've delayed too long already.
Our next three speakers are Katie Rigg, Sarah Singal, and Heidi Butler.
Good evening. Good evening. My name is Katie Rigg, and I'm speaking on behalf of Color Penfield Green. We advocate for meaningful climate solutions, and capping Gloria Drive landfill in Penfield with methane capture would be one of the single most impactful actions we could ask our leaders to take. This retired landfill needs attention in multiple ways, and we're grateful that the county has included it in the capital improvement plan. We need to prevent rainwater from creating leachate. This will make the local ecosystem healthier, give neighbors peace of mind, and save the county time and money in treating the outflows. I'm here tonight to ask you to also include methane capture in this project, something that would address 13% of the county operations emissions. That's big. Usually we're making incremental progress, a few more EVs in the fleet, an updated HVAC system, and those are critical choices we need to be making. But ending the venting of methane in the landfill would be a huge leap forward. When making the financial calculations, please remember that there is a hidden cost to inaction, damages that will occur in the future to public health, to farm losses, to infrastructure losses due to fires and floods. Floods will be this region's burden to bear as well. A methane capture system will remove 6,000 approximately metric tons of greenhouse gases from the atmosphere, translating to about $7 to $10 million in avoided future damages across the globe. This legislative body overwhelmingly supported phase 1 of the county's climate action plan. Thank you. That plan included capping the landfill with methane capture as a high-impact, quick action that should be taken. Color Penfield Green asks you to please cap this landfill once and to do it right, as written in your plan. These are the big, impactful actions and investments every community must choose for the greater good.
Hello, my name is Sarah Singal. I live in the city of Rochester, and I'm a member of Color Rochester Green, an environmental organization of Rochester residents. Thank you for the county's climate action plan. I am advocating tonight for multiple compost sites within Monroe County. As you know, food scraps placed in landfills generate the powerful greenhouse gas methane. Composting is a low-tech, highly effective way to trade a harmful process for a beneficial one. Benefits are production of finished compost, which enriches soil, less use of the commercial fertilizers, which can be harmful for waterways and lakes, decreased volume placed into landfills, and ultimately protection from conditions that lead to the wild weather systems such as extreme heat, storms, and flooding that we have already been experiencing. I participate in Rock City Compost, a pilot program of about 2,000 households. Last year, it diverted 147 tons of organics from landfill, decreasing greenhouse gas emissions by over 36 metric tons. Now consider that Monroe County has not 2,000, but 342,000 households and 17,000 businesses. Although some households use various methods of composting, clearly there is a huge amount of organics going into landfills unnecessarily. The time for countywide program is here. Composting is becoming increasingly widespread. All of New York City now has mandatory curbside composting. Development of the program has proceeded under mayors from both parties. I have a request for you. The next time you eat at a restaurant, ask the server, what happens to the food scraps? I bet most will answer that scraps are added to the garbage. We can do better. Thank you for your attention and for your service to the community.
Hello, my name is Heidi Butler. I'm also a member of Color Rochester Green, and I'm a human being just like all of you, living with the consequences of global warming. First, thank you for passing and then funding Phase 2 of the County Climate Action Plan last year. My ask of the county legislature today is to establish organics and food scraps recycling by building multiple composting facilities in the county. Diverting organics and food scraps out of landfills is the smarter solution. Landfills create greenhouse gases, and composting reduces them. In a time when our federal government is abandoning efforts to fight climate change, we must do everything we can do on a local and state level to keep up this fight. The Gloria Drive landfill in Penfield is currently the single largest source of greenhouse gas emissions in Monroe County. It must be recapped using capture methane technology, adhering to the county's climate action plan, Phase 1, in which it was stated that recapping the landfill was identified as a high impact measure. The Gloria Drive situation perfectly illustrates why we do not want to keep dumping food scraps and organics into landfills. Thank you.
Our next three speakers are Cheryl Frank, Steve Lysenko, and Kristen Van Horigi.
Good evening, I'm Cheryl Frank. I'm part of Color Brighton Green, and I want to also express my concern about the methane leaking from the Gloria Drive landfill as detailed in the Monroe County Climate Action Plan. The Gloria Drive landfill is the Monroe County government's single largest source of greenhouse gas emissions. It is 13% of total government emissions. The county needs to set an example to the wider community to have credibility. As you know, methane is a potent greenhouse gas, a major contributor to climate change. Its continuous release from the landfill exacerbates the global climate crisis, but also poses health risks to nearby communities and diminishes our local air quality. As stewards of the environment and of the health of our citizens, it is imperative that we address this problem. So I urge you that when the Gloria Drive landfill is capped, a robust system for methane collection and proper methane processing is implemented. This is about responsible environmental management and protecting the future of our community. Implementing state-of-the-art methane capture technique will not only drastically reduce harmful emissions, but also demonstrate Monroe County's dedication to safeguarding public health and combating climate change. Captured methane can be used to be converted to a valuable energy source, offering an opportunity to turn a liability into a sustainable asset for our county. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Kristen Van Horigi, and I am the Senior Director of Programs for the Climate Solutions Accelerator. Our mission is to create a healthier, more equitable, and regenerative community by catalyzing local efforts to eliminate greenhouse gas emissions and address the effects of climate change. Guess what I'm here to talk about? We want to thank County Executive Bello and Monroe County for many years of positive collaboration and support. Additionally, we would like to thank Monroe County Legislature for unanimously adopting the county's climate action plan, which demonstrates the county's leadership in addressing climate change in the Genesee Finger Lakes region. As I'm sure you are aware, methane is 80 times more potent than carbon dioxide at trapping heat in the atmosphere over the near term.
As such, it's imperative that we work quickly to address methane emissions so as to reduce the damaging effects of climate change. The Gloria Drive landfill accounts for 13% of the county's total greenhouse gas emissions. But according to our own 2022 Genesee Finger Lakes Climate Action Strategy, waste is almost 10% of our regional greenhouse gas emissions. In many ways, capping the landfill and capturing emissions is low-hanging fruit. The county's own climate action plan identifies capping landfill and exploring methane capture as a high-impact, short-term priority. Given the relative intensity of methane emissions, capping the landfill is essential from a climate perspective. Moreover, capping the landfill now would put the county ahead of schedule in reaching the timeframe laid out in its capital improvement plan and is more fiscally responsible course of action, since it's not the type of investment we want to be making twice. We recognize that the county only has direct control over its own emissions, as outlined in phase 1 of the plan. The Gloria Drive landfill project presents an opportunity to make a significant reduction in the county's emissions. It's also an opportunity to fulfill County Executive Bello's promise that this plan would not be one that just sits on the shelf, and to showcase the county's continued commitment to our future. Thank you.
Our next 3 public forum speakers are Samuel Latemple, Sarge Mitchell, and Christopher Snyder.
Hello, everybody. My name is Sarge from Combat News. To the Latino Military Coalition, our exceptional legislator who truly walked the walk with us veterans, and to the incredible and dedicated team at RTS who found a solution. On behalf of the Rochester, New York veteran community and Combat News and myself, we thank you. When our veteran community faced a critical challenge, you stepped up and found a way to help solve a problem when others said it couldn't happen and it wouldn't happen. Your swift action in providing a shuttle service to bridge the transportation gap for our veterans is more than just a solution. It's a powerful testament to your unwavering commitment to this community. This initiative brilliantly showcases what can be achieved when the boots on ground advocates, collaborate with vital services, our community and our legislative representatives as well. When we unite, work hand in hand for all of us, we make a better community. The veterans would like to be involved with that better community as well. Thank you all for being an invaluable partner in this endeavor, for truly listening to the boots on ground veteran ideas. We eagerly anticipate continuing our work with the community to ensure all veterans and their families have the resources and support that we all need. By the way, one more thing, I'm sorry, the flag in front of this building is tethered and it's ripped. And if we can get that changed out, I do appreciate it because it does look pretty bad. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Christopher Snyder. I'm a high school science teacher, adjunct RIT professor, and 12-year resident of Monroe County. I'm speaking as an individual upon the explicit request of my friend Ronald Garrow, Mohawk Bear Clan. I'm here today to ask 2 things. 1, that the Haudenosaunee flag ought to be restored to the county legislators building immediately. 2nd, it is far past time this legislature ceased recognition of Christopher Columbus Day, someone who even in his own time was recognized as at best undeserving of recognition due to the atrocities he oversaw. Monroe County should join a growing list of counties, including Los Angeles County, Johnson County, Iowa, Harris County, Texas, in recognizing Indigenous Peoples Day only. This makes not only ethical and historical sense, but also from an economic standpoint. The sovereign tribal bodies of Western New York are some of the largest employers in the region. More than 70% of the Seneca Nation's employees are non-natives. The Haudenosaunee Confederacy, whose flag is in question, has its own Olympic lacrosse team, a global sport that they invented. This is to say nothing of the global political and cultural footprint of the 6 nations that Monroe County and this body would be foolish to distance itself from. We have 17 flagpoles outside this building. We should reserve one for this region's indigenous people. Also, we should not be less scrupulous than the King and Queen of Spain, who at the time of Columbus had him arrested upon hearing about his behavior. As a teacher, I strive every day to pose a loving challenge to my students to do and be their very best. Today, I pass that same loving challenge to not only do what is right, but also what amounts to simple common sense. Thank you. Skanyo.
This concludes the public forum.
Thank you. At this time, we'll recess the July 8th, 2025 meeting of the Monroe County Legislature and will convene the Rochester Pure Waters District of the Pure Waters Administrative Board. Mr. Clerk, please note the attendance and read the first item on the agenda.
PWeb agenda item number 1, referral 25-0223, authorizing contract with CP Ward for general construction services for Rochester Pure Waters District Frank E. Van Laer wastewater treatment plant electrical system improvements project.
Move it, Madam President.
Second.
Moved by Legislator Smith, seconded by Legislator Maffucci. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Item carries. We will now recess the Rochester Pure Waters District and adjourn the Pure Waters Administrative Board. I now reconvene the July 8th, 2025 meeting of the Monroe County Legislature. We will now proceed with the consideration of motions, resolutions, and notices. Will the clerk read the next item on the agenda?
Madam President,
Yes, Legislator Doodleson.
I move that we consider the agenda as a whole with the exception of items 28 through 34 with the note that we have already considered item number 32. Wait.
Moved by Legislator Doodleson, seconded by Legislator Brew. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Item carries. Next item. We are on item number 28.
Item number 28, referral 25-0243, approving Monroe Community College's 2025-2026 operating budget.
Move it, Madam President. Second.
Moved by Legislator Baynes, seconded by Legislator Maffucci. This is for introductory purposes only. Next item.
Item number 29, referral 25-0243, providing that resolution entitled approving Monroe Community College's 2025-2026 operating budget be tabled.
Move it, Madam President. Second.
Moved by Legislator Baynes, seconded by Legislator Maffucci. This is to table. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Item number 30, referral 25-0243, fixing a public hearing on resolution entitled approving Monroe Community College's 2025-2026 operating budget.
Move it, Madam President. Second.
Moved by Legislator Baynes, seconded by Legislator Maffucci. This is to set a public hearing. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Item number 31, referral 25-0244, confirming appointments to Monroe County Library System Board of Trustees.
Moved by Legislator Barnhart, seconded by Legislator Baynes. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Item number 33, referral 25-0246, amending 2025-2030 capital improvement program, authorizing contract with ML Cacamus Electric Corporation for general construction services for the project.
Move it, Madam President.
Second.
Moved by legislator Hughes-Smith, seconded by legislator Maffucci. Is there any discussion? Before we vote, I'd like to declare my interest. Seeing no other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Item number 34, referral 25-0246.BR, resolution authorizing the issuance of $745,000 bonds of the County of Monroe, New York, to finance the cost of improved safety of downtown campus entrance in and for said county at an estimated maximum cost of $745,000 and superseding the bond resolution adopted on December 13, 2022, resolution number 416 of 2022.
But Madam President.
Second.
Moved by legislator Hughes-Smith, seconded by legislator Maffucci. Is there any discussion? Legislator Baynes.
Thank you, Madam President. I'd like to explain my vote. It's been a matter of discussion at the MCC Board of Trustees that many concerns have come forward. One of them has quite frankly been my own, of the danger to pedestrians, et cetera, in that area of crossing Maurice Silver Way on the east side of the MCC downtown campus. And I want to express my appreciation to administration and MCC for taking positive action to address what is an important safety concern for our community residents attempting to access their own education. Thank you. I'll be voting in the affirmative.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Item carries. There being no unfinished business, legislator Udelson.
I move that we stand adjourned until 6 p.m. on Tuesday, August 12th.
So moved. Go home.